When we're live, welcome to the Astrology by Celeste YouTube channel. This is my first YouTube live with a guest. I usually do my guests on Instagram. So I'm really excited about this. And I want to introduce myself for anyone who's new to me. I'm Celeste Brooks of Astrology by Celeste, the astrologer, a coach, and a teacher. And Suzy, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi. Thank you, Celeste. Hi, I'm Suzy Spira at the Center for Expansive Living, and I am a psychotherapist, an energy healer, and an astrologer, and I braid these three together to help my clients expand in their lives in whatever direction they want. My goal is to help people find authenticity. And in that, what I really help to do is help support people in their nervous systems so that they can be their best selves. Sometimes our nervous system will get stuck in either a sympathetic state or a parasympathetic state. And we all really just want to be able to flow with life in whatever is right for us in that moment to moment.
I love that. I love that. That's so beautiful. And it's a Leo full moon today. So we want to talk about some things about the full moon as well as about our work. The moon in Leo is about shining your light and like what you have to contribute, what your gifts are, and being proud of what your contributions are. So we're going to be talking about each of the work each of us do as well.
And with that, I want to say it's a really important day for everybody to find some joy, some fun, what's playful. Like Leo is almost like this little kid energy that can bubble up inside of us. And I think with the sun in Aquarius, sometimes we can get really, really stuck on as a means to getting to whatever our goal is, since Saturn rules Aquarius. And it's really important to remember sometimes just what we need to have these breakthroughs is a little joy for the sake of joy. And that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that, yeah. Suzy. Hi, Anna. Yeah, put any questions in the comments and we will address them as well. But I love that. Have some joy and some play today. And one thing that's beautiful about this full moon is it's squaring Jupiter. So Jupiter makes everything bigger. So you treat yourself to something special and joyful today that just feels really good. I love that. If not today, this weekend for sure.
Are you doing anything joyful today? Did you do anything like that? It's earlier there.
No, not yet. I'm going to Pilates, so I will have fun for there. I'm meeting up with a friend for coffee later, so that'll be joyful. And I have a wonderful client this evening that'll be joyful as well. So yeah, I will make sure to sprinkle some joy throughout the day.
Amazing, amazing. I also met with somebody this morning for some tea. And it's not often that I plan that in my schedule. And it was so lovely to see my friend. And while I was there, we bumped into two other friends. And it's important, actually.
It really is. And Aquarius is a sign of friends and friendships. So even if you can't meet today, maybe send out a message or do something to reconnect with a friend who brings you joy in your life. I think is a great way to use this energy. Hi, Anne-Marie.
Hi, Anne-Marie. Hi, Anna.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm going to just rewind a little bit for people who want to know. Some of you probably know this. Maybe Anne-Marie knows this already. But Celeste and I met through Deborah Silverman's astrology school. We took some classes following up, and actually we both interned there. Celeste taught there, but we both interned with the same mentor, and it really just goes like that. So right away, I feel like when I first met Celeste, she had a goal, and I said, do you have anybody that's like your accountability partner in that goal? And she didn't, and I said, okay, I'm going to check in on you tomorrow. And I think she might have been taken aback a little bit, but that's very much I'm a therapist, not a coach, but that's kind of my thing, right? Like, I feel like we all have these goals in life, and they're all kind of, in some way, they probably are interconnected, you know? But if we don't get support, it's really hard to do anything. So, yeah, I really like that. And then at
Mhm.
times in my
And
life, um, I know that Celeste and I have supported each other. Like, I have a question about, oh, what date should I book this surgery? And I'll speak to Celeste. Or if there's something I understand about astrology, but I still have like a little bit of confusion in my mind, I will speak to Celeste. Um, and I think both Celeste and I have a background working in the business world, and we both kind of come from that, which is sometimes unusual in the astrology world. And I think that we both, would you say this? Like, even though we're both out there, for anybody wondering, I have Neptune on my sun. So, well, I'm Sagittarius sun, Aquarius moon, and a Leo rising. I often feel kind of watery. I've got Neptune on my sun. I'm a fourth house girl. There's a lot of stuff there um, in that. But there's definitely times where connection has been so important. And I think even after I had an accident, there was a time where Celeste right away was like, could we talk about this? Because I looked at your chart and I saw something. But really, a lot of us know Celeste is somebody who really has studied a lot, and she's very thorough, and she's definitely like Taurus sun, Saturn on the sun, right? Are you Saturn on the, yeah, Saturn on the sun. That definitely
yes.
comes across. What you may not know about Celeste is this other side to her where she has this coach inside of her, and she can help people reach their goals. She really can. Anna, I see that you also were a part
Five
of
planets in the
DSA, and I
11th
think
house.
5 planets in the
Yeah, and it's
11th
in
house. There
DSA as
you go.
well. We should give a shout out to Astro Auntie Sarah El Harar. Yeah,
Love her.
we both interned with her. Yeah, we love
And
Sarah.
she just got back from Costa Rica. I
I
think she did
know
this
that trip looks
phenomenal
so much
portal
fun.
retreat.
I
I
went
really wanted to
solo.
go. I couldn't go because my teacher was in New York, and I didn't want to miss it since he comes in only a few times a year. But I hope I can go next year. She's going to have a repeat. So
Yeah, maybe I'll go
maybe
next
some of you
year.
will come with us. Oh, maybe you'll go too. That's
Yeah,
great.
maybe. We'll
That's
see.
great. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So
Celeste, do you want to tell people a little bit more about what I mentioned, this
yes.
whole idea of coaching and how you work in your coaching packages, and maybe some of the things that you've seen?
Hmm. Yes, I do personal reading, but I really love to support people on a longer term basis because you can really, when you dive into your chart, an hour is not a lot of time, or even an hour and a half, but seeing how your chart is coming to life over time and talking about, what happened over the last 2 weeks with events can be really enlightening and bring up light to the shadows. That's what astrology can really do. So I work with people with 3-month or year-long coaching packages where we meet twice a month, and then I record weekly oracle card readings for them to help support them as they're going to try to reach goals. A lot of people come to me with thinking about their professional goals, but a lot goes on in these sessions that's about just who they are as a person and understanding themselves through the lens of all the people in their life. Because, and as you go on with things about your parents and your spouse or your partners or your children, as these events come up, and we can look at the chart and the transits about what's going on at the time period. Suzy lost her connection. She's coming back. Yeah. So that was just talking about, I call it cosmic success coaching. So you can go to my website, astrologybyceleste.com, and and join me there. Yeah, we lost Susie. She said she's having tech problems. She'll be back in two. So Uranus is stationing to go direct tomorrow, and it can feel like a mini retrograde, a mini Mercury retrograde, where lots of people are having tech issues. I've had some tech issues. Yeah. But I also should talk about what Susie said about me being a Taurus with Saturn on my sun. So yeah, I like to be really, I'm very grounded and practical, and is the Taurus energy, and Saturn, like when I dive into studying something or wanting to know something, it's this expertise. Saturn is about mastery. So I've really worked on a continual basis of trying to more master different techniques in astrology, and yeah, and making my practice better and better. Right now, I'm taking a class about consultation skills to help me be even better in interacting with people and understanding more of the psychology of it. Yeah, okay, so you felt intensity earlier, but now you feel nice, good vibes. Yeah, so what's happening now is that Venus has moved into Capricorn, and it's moving. It's really interesting because it's sextile Saturn in Pisces. So Venus rules love, beauty, and harmony. And so sextile Saturn in Pisces, that can feel a little blocking, maybe, because Saturn can feel limiting. I think that's like with Barbie, with Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig not being nominated for best. Let me bring Susie back up. Okay. Best actress, best director. I feel like that's Saturn and Pisces, but there's also this Jupiter and Taurus. Venus is trine Jupiter and Taurus. So you're probably moving between that feeling of that Venusian feeling, with feeling a little limited with Saturn, but expansive with Jupiter, Anna. Mm-hmm. Welcome back, Susie. I was just talking about how Uranus is going direct tomorrow. So tech problems. It's like a little mini Mercury retrograde.
And it's right near my midheaven somewhere. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was telling Celeste before we got on how I feel like it's been a little bit like that, like with my schedule and everything, pieces moving around. And it's like Mercury in retrograde ended and Mercury's direct and it's out of shadow. And I'm like still experiencing this. But yeah, I'm also in a Saturn square. I've got lots of stuff going on. So thank you for your patience.
Oh, no worries. No worries. Yeah. I was just talking about how I like to help people through my coaching practice to really dive deeper into their chart, to understand more aspects of their nature, especially when you're working with, I love doing these year-long programs because you have a new moon in each house of your chart during the year, bringing to light different aspects of your personality, the people in your life, and you can really start to see a deeper level of your personality. One of the best things astrology does is bring light to the shadows of ourselves for growth and expansion and healing. I think astrology has been the most healing thing I've ever experienced. Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Like people can use the coaching relationship to understand themselves better, but can you tell people maybe about how understanding, maybe you can give us an example, how understanding yourself better has helped people move forward in their life, maybe where they've been stuck, or maybe they wanted a change in their career and they've been able to do it, or they wanted to go for a promotion, which they got, whatever it is, grow their business, any of those things. I'm so curious, like, as you know, my business is the Center for Expansive Living, and I'm so curious about everything that is expansive.
Yeah, so I have several clients who are wanting to start businesses, some of which are spiritual businesses. And so working with the chart, and like one client I could think about who was really feeling stuck, and she's in a balsamic progressed moon phase cycle. So for her,
Mm.
understanding that the balsamic moon is the last phase of the moon cycle before there's a new moon. And we have these, it's about our emotions and where we are in our lives, the progressed moon topics. Yeah. And when you're in a balsamic progressed moon phase, there's a lot of releasing that's going on. Like you can feel like you're moving slow and things are taking longer than you want them to take. And her helping her understand the timing of where she was helped her adjust her expectations about how much she could push forward. And it gives dates. Astrology gives you dates and timings for when new things are going to be happening. And we've been working together for months. And she's been, oh my God, the evolution about how she's like moved things into these more bite-sized pieces with the moon cycles, taking some of the pressure off herself, honoring the process, and progressing towards that date when she has a new moon, which is coming up here shortly. And she's like flowering and growing the business in alignment with the cycle that she's in and phase that she's in and the timing. And yeah, having this understanding is bringing some peace to her. And it's, oh my God, she's grown so much and made so much progress.
I love
And is
this.
being kinder to herself in the process. Yeah, so understanding like the astrology chart can give you like dates. Okay, this is when we should do this part of the business. This is when that part of the business, and you
Mm.
set plans and actions. And yeah, Venus is sextile Saturn. You talked about that earlier. That we came together. Venus and Capricorn were two women with business backgrounds. Sextile Saturn and Pisces, and we're working. And we're leaders in the spiritual
Mm.
businesses and accountability partners. Yeah, like you had said earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really been beautiful how that
Yeah,
works.
yeah,
And
and
I
you've
love
really
what,
helped me too with your healing. Yeah.
do you want to tell people a little bit about that? And then I can tell people about what my business is and how I work with people in case anybody's interested. Mhm.
Yeah, Susie does embodied astrology, and she's done healing sessions with me that remote sessions, which have been really wonderful in healing and helped me in times of like I was having neck issues. A Taurus rules the neck, and she
Mm.
was able to work with me remotely to help release some of that tension and do some energetic processing and just yeah, really was healing and had me feeling great. So why don't you explain about embodied
Yeah.
astrology? Not everybody
So
knows what that is.
yeah, and I'm going to also just explain my business. I'm going to take a step back. So I did work in the business world for 10 years. So I do have a financial mind. Taurus midheaven, people decided I should be an accountant. That's where I came from. I guess maybe with the South Node being lit up today by the full moon, I should talk about that. But then I went back to school. There's something called Teller work, which is hands-on healing work, and it's a mind-body combination. But in there, it just didn't really feel like the right work for me. And then I went to social work school. And so I have my LCSW, but while I was seeing clients, I often felt like the solution wasn't just in the mind, like it would be in your body. For example, like if somebody has panic attacks, I would want them to move their ankles or feel their toes in their shoes while they were having the panic attack, which is not like a traditional psychology thought. Um, so that was always there. And then after I had my daughter, I started to learn about energy healing. And I remembered somebody mentioning something about polarity to me a long time ago. And so this is about 10 years ago. I started to study polarity, and polarity is energy medicine. But Dr. Stone, its founder, he studied everything. Like he studied osteopathy, he studied cranial work, he studied with a lot of indigenous cultures. Um, but what he used in it was astrology, which blew my mind then. And the reason that I went to Deborah Silverman's school is that I've always known like Aries eyes, Taurus neck, Gemini shoulders, and so on and so forth. But I didn't really understand, like, for example, if I knew that Aries was fire and Leo, was fire in the solar plexus, Sagittarius fire in the thighs, I didn't understand about the differences in those fires. And I wanted to understand that, which now I know it's the modes. So I started studying that during the pandemic. And what I do really is to braid together astrology, psychology, and the body. So I have like 90-minute sessions usually with clients. And the first 45 minutes is like a typical psychotherapy session. In a lot of ways, my client will come in, they'll sit in the chair, we'll do this talk therapy session. But for me, that wasn't satisfying because I felt like talking about things could really stir people's nervous systems up and people could leave in fight, flight, freeze, which is like, then I go, what's the point, right? So what I started to do was help people with their nervous systems. And when I studied astrology, what I learned is that by showing people their natal chart, I have one right here. I just want to fold over the name, but I have one right here from my last client. Showing them their natal chart and circling things while they talk, it's actually very helpful to their nervous system because instead of going like, why in one way do I have so much control? Well, in the other way, I have a really big problem limiting myself. So now I'm talking specifically, I've worked with a lot of people who have a lot of Capricorn and a lot of Sagittarius together. So I would say, yeah, this is a theme of your life. And I would show them where and why. And so that in itself, I think helps to just level and calm the nervous system. But then at the way that I do sessions is like a back-to-back healing session. So after that, somebody, or if it's distant, I'll use my doll, will lie on the table. And then we work with their nervous system. And I was born with some gifts, which I didn't know until later, like probably in my late 30s, early 40s, but I can almost see where blockages are in people's bodies. I think that what I'm doing is I'm listening to somebody's body and their body's telling me exactly where the blockage is. And so many times people will go like, how did you know to go to the spot? And I'll say, you showed me. Like, that's really how it goes. So, I really had a lot of good success, clients telling me that they had problems. Say it. Go ahead.
Oh, you were freezing a little bit.
Okay. Am I unfrozen now?
Yeah, now you are. Yeah.
So all I was saying is that, I've recently had clients tell me like they couldn't sleep through the night before they started seeing me. And now like they might wake up to go to the bathroom, but they have no problem going back to sleep. To me, that's the nervous system. So when we go through life, we all have to work with Saturn. We all have traumas in our life. We all have heavy, deep things which kind of help us to get on our right path. Sometimes we need to unwind the energy of it, and it's not all through talking. And in fact, this client said to me, she said, I did a lot of EMDR before I came to you, but I never felt that it helped that way. And I said, EMDR is great for people that don't know what it is. It's like rapid eye movement, and it can break the brain from being stuck in a loop, and it can help with that. But really, we store trauma in our bodies. So if you're already cognitively minded, I think that bringing the body into everything is super important. And in fact, when I teach some beginner astrology stuff, and the way in which I teach it is in this multi-sensory way. I teach it through the body. I teach it through the energy and feeling it. And that I love to work with healers and teach astrology to healers or other therapists, other astrologers. It's something, people who have the intention of helping other people.
Yeah, I love that. And people, and I love how you talked about when listening to people when they're talking, because people speak their charts as well as the transits that are going on. Yeah, when you're,
Yeah.
it's what happens. And so you use that in order to help show people where this is coming from. And I think that's so helpful because we all in our charts have tense aspects like the oppositions and the squares, and then the softer aspects like the sextiles and the trines. And sometimes like leaning into the sextiles and trines can help us, and having that understanding, the translation of our cosmic blueprint can be so helpful, and to bring to our conscious attention how we can make some changes. And I love how you use that as well to do some healing and unlocking of blockages.
Yeah, and what's interesting, and I think this is the other piece of astrology that I was really interested in that I didn't understand before I was working with astrology, is that people would come in, and it was interesting to me throughout the week. There would often be like a theme of bodies of where I was working with people. And actually, like the one for this week, I'm going to give people because it might really like help you just personally. My teacher was in, right? And so I was working with my teacher, and he was releasing something, and I could feel it high up on the back of my leg, like right under my knee. So that is, this is Aquarius energy. Anything between the ankle and the knee is Aquarius energy, and Sun's in Aquarius now, right? And I thought, oh my God, this is so interesting. I wonder how many of my clients have tension in this area behind their knee, and it's an accessible place. We can all massage it ourselves. And that would help release tension in your neck, actually, too, according to Dr. Stone's work. So I've been really like focused. Well, I'm focused on wherever their body brings me. I think about that. And then for anybody who wants, they can follow my page, Center for Expansive Living, on Facebook, or same name in other parts of the internet world. But Instagram,
you're on Instagram too, right?
Yeah, Instagram. But in there, when I do like a little analysis of the full moon, I'll say like, everybody for today, it's like, if we could practice shining our light from our solar plexus, to me, that's the Leo full moon. It's like, see the bright coming out of there. So it's interesting to think about how there's universal global themes going on. And there's also, everybody has their microcosm, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so how do these move together?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, this full moon is intense with the sun conjunct Pluto and Aquarius, and we're seeing all sorts of things about Aquarius, the sign of people and the collective, and Pluto unearthing things about power, control, domination, all of this kind of stuff.
And isn't there like a finger? Yeah, there's a finger of God going towards the moon today as well.
Let me see. The moon.
I was reading it.
Yeah, Saturn's in conjunction on one. Oh yeah, that Saturn Venus sextile is King Kong's.
Yeah.
The moon in Leo.
Yeah.
It's a finger of God and God. So the moon at 5 Leo is King Kong's Saturn at 5 Aquarius. King Kong's are uncomfortable energy. They're like an irritation, almost like a fly buzzing in your ear. Rick Levine describes it as that.
And then the other side of it, right, is Saturn and Pisces.
Well, that's one side, Saturn and Pisces. The other side is Venus and Capricorn.
Yep, Venus and Capricorn. And then Suzanne Berger pointed that out, and I was like, wow, this is a really interesting one. For me, it's a really interesting one. What about you? What have you been noticing personally from the astrology today?
Yeah, the things in the collective I've noticed are that Florida, the House of Representatives, which is a Pluto in Aquarius and Sun in Aquarius topic, these powerful people who are a part of a group or association, have said that kids under 16, they passed a bill that they can't use certain social media platforms. So
Wow.
that's the Venus social media is for fun. Sextile Saturn and Pisces, sextile Saturn, they're putting controls on the ability for kids to do this enjoyment because of the concerns about addiction, Pisces topic, as well as surveillance, a Pluto topic,
Yeah.
as well as yeah, the damage it's doing to their brains, the health of them. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So I thought that was a story. That's that yacht. Yeah, I was looking
Yeah.
at it. The moon in Leo, yeah, is children is a Leo topic, and the
Yeah.
moon, lots of people. Yeah, so and their parents can't even if their parents are okay with it, they're saying that these kids cannot, it's going to be illegal for them to be on these social media platforms.
Yep. I mean, it's interesting to take the control away from the parents, but in a
Mhm,
sense, it frees them up. Like
mhm,
as a parent, it's really, I mean, for me, because I've been doing it my daughter's whole life, she's used to me being different than the rest of the parents. But I feel like when everybody else is entrenched in certain platforms, it is very hard for people to tell their kid, no, you can't do this too.
Yeah, so it's helpful to the parents in
Yeah.
some ways, but of course there are going to be lawsuits trying to strike the rule down.
Freedom.
And it's so interesting. So I have my podcast. It's a Celestial Insights podcast where I talk about the transits every week. I give people three big things to think about: a theme, words of the day, and such like that. And sometimes it comes to light afterwards what the because I do it before the week. And the theme this week was tick, tick, boom. And I'm wondering because Uranus is stationing direct tomorrow, and Uranus has like kind of explosive energy. And I'm wondering if like TikTok's days are numbered because we're going to be seeing over the next couple of weeks is that for the first time in hundreds of years, Mercury is going to meet Pluto, then Mars, and then Venus. And what will this mean in Aquarius, a sign of the collective, and Pluto,
Wow.
the power to the people, power over the people. Will there be some kind of ban? I'm really interested to see as well what happens when Venus and Mars meet up in Aquarius. On your south node, by the way, they're meeting up in 6 Aquarius, I think on the
Yeah.
22nd. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, Anne Marie. Thanks. I'm having a lovely hair day. I went to the hairdresser yesterday. So we're going to be seeing like in February, March. I mean, there's going to be a lot of things revealed about what about this new age that we're in. It's not
Mm.
age, maybe is a wrong word, but the next 20 years for most of it, except the small spot later in this fall, will be Pluto will be in Aquarius, remodeling. Pluto breaks things down to the studs in order to be rebuilt. Things about how we are able to, the information, Aquarius, and around the people.
And that's really like an interesting one. So it would be an extremely interesting time for people to reach out to you for your coaching because
Mhm.
everything is
It's
being
changed. Mhm.
is being re-envisioned. And then it's like, can you take that into your personal life? Like this is also for what I do professionally. It's like, how do we take it into our personal life? And can we get on board with what we want to do, what our deepest dream is? What do we need to burn down to get there? And it's something that a lot of us watched you do, Celeste, when you left the corporate world, right? You kind of were like planning, 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 and then you felt like, just gotta go, right? Isn't
Mhm.
that what happened? You left a little bit earlier than you thought you would.
I did, yeah. So I was like, I'd started my astrology business while I was still doing my sales, marketing, and business development career in corporate, doing them both at the same time. And I was planning to leave like 9 months later, but I there was an Aries new moon that activated my moon in Aries. And it was just like this awakening, and Uranus was around my sun, awakening. Uranus awakened us to possibilities we thought were not possible, and awakened me to the fact that and it was in my 10th house of career, that the only reason I was holding on to my corporate career was fear. That's it. And I just decided that enough was enough. And I decided to take the leap of faith. Saturn was also squaring my Sun Saturn conjunction, and yeah, release myself to follow my hopes and dreams, and
which
to
I
do
think
what
would
I
be,
really feel like it's my purpose. I have Chiron in the 10th house.
yeah. Yeah, no, I'm just thinking about how amazing it is for anybody. A leap of faith is really, really hard, and a leap of faith. But I want to go like your chart, like all that Taurus energy, Saturn sitting on the sun. You really probably like to dot your I's and cross your T's, even though you have an Aries moon that just says, go, baby, go. Like, you know,
Yeah, I
see it,
do,
do
yeah.
it. So that was like your moon was also like in there. It was like, okay, show up as an Aries now. Like,
Yes, that's exactly like
yeah.
leaving some of the Taurus behind. And when this is happening, my progressed sun was in Cancer, and Cancer wants to grow things. Cancer wants to nurture and help and heal people, squaring by midheaven, my highest person, what I'm here to do. So, like moving from that Taurus, oh, I like to have the comfort and the security of my corporate career, never having to worry about money really or anything, to jumping off a cliff, no paycheck, for the first time since I was 22 years old. Yeah, yeah, it was
And you
really.
work at home. I mean, how perfect for a Cancer progressed sun. You get to work at home,
Yep.
which like maybe
Yeah.
you were doing it a little bit, but for yourself, right? You're the
hmm
leader.
hmm
You're the leader. I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I love helping people, whatever it is, through the coaching, and longer term working together to recognizing goals, brainstorming about next steps, being an accountability partner, all of the things. Yeah, talking about the timing and alignment of their chart with what they're wanting to do, so that we can lean into the areas of expansion and growth. And now is a great time if you have any goals with Jupiter and Uranus coming together in Taurus, a sign of resources. Jupiter expands, Uranus making the change, the big change, being inspired, taking the leaps of faith in Taurus to manifest in the real world. And here on YouTube, I did a lecture about the Jupiter Taurus. It was a webinar that you can watch and see what it means for you in your own life. So definitely, this is a time where people should be taking action to grow what they want to grow, and
And
being
I would
brave and having faith.
And I want to say that that is a part of my work. I'm moving over so you guys can, I have to get the right direction so you can see the tree of life behind me. That's it. It's like, how do I help people step into their own body so they can manifest exactly what they want? And sometimes it's not a cognitive blockage, sometimes it's an energetic thing to be in our strongest, highest, most flow state before we take a great leap.
hmm Yeah,
Um,
I think, yeah, getting
and
the energy work together.
and
Not that
I
everybody
guess,
needs to leave their job. There's
yeah,
so many.
and like I would say also though, I mean, it is really interesting because what I could say in my work that has been really impactful. So we were talking about Pluto entering Aquarius and changes, is I realize for me, I love to work with people individually, but what I love even more is when people refer people to me and we work as a team. So it's like, if somebody has an astrology client that just feels either anxious or stuck, um, or they're working with trauma, that's a good client to work together with. There's
Mhm.
a whole bunch of those things happening, um, and people love it. People love when their practitioners work together.
Yeah, and I've referred people to you. Go ahead and take a sip of your thing. Well, thank you, Anna. Yeah, I've been helping Anna with her dilemmas about her professional career.
Oh, wow. That's amazing, Anna.
Oh, thank you. And she says I'm an inspiration. Yeah.
I think
Ah,
so.
oh, Anne Marie is saying so many of her friends have been saying they're feeling different energy this past couple of days. Aquarius dust sprinkling on all of us. Yeah, this Pluto moving into Aquarius is a big deal. And I think you can see, like in Germany, there was this plot leaked for about right-wing groups wanting to do these mass deportations of immigrants out of Germany, even like into some place in Africa. And over 1 million people in Germany took to the streets this weekend as Pluto entered Aquarius again. So, like people showing their power, standing up for wanting, like Capricorn's hierarchical, Aquarius wants the collective to be on an equal playing field, and they've moved to the streets to try to stop this from happening. So I thought that was a beautiful expression of Pluto going to Aquarius, and I wonder with this Leo full moon, this weekend there'll be even more people in the streets in Germany around this issue.
It is magical. Does anybody who's on have any questions for either of us?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that we have Anna and Anne Marie on today. My middle name is Anne with an E. Do you have any connection with the
Yeah.
name Anne, Celeste?
No, not in my
No.
family, but it's a
No.
nice name. One of my mentors, Anne Ortley, has the name Anne.
There we go. There
Yeah,
we go. No,
yeah.
it's
Okay, so
very interesting.
just just enjoy the
I
chat.
agree.
Yeah, I think what's going to be interesting. Can I give another astrology story?
Sure, go for it.
Oh yeah, yeah. What's going to be interesting? Israel, like South Africa's case against Israel at The Hague is tomorrow, and Israel's moon is at 4 Leo, and this full moon's at 5 Leo, and Uranus goes direct tomorrow. So that is going to be an interesting to see what the UN has to say about this thing. So that's also the Pluto in Aquarius, the Sun, Pluto in Aquarius. This court, this tribunal of a group of people with the full moon squaring Jupiter. Jupiter ruling legal stuff can come to light as well. So I love doing the mundane astrology. That's my jam as well. I like helping people to be able to understand what's as above, so below, how it shows up in the collective as well as their own lives. And like doing the coaching helps people really get more in tune to how things are going in their daily lives with that, as well as I teach astrology. My Astrology Foundations 201 course, where people already know the basics, is starting next Wednesday.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I'm about to start, for anybody listening that's interested, a course in the basics. Again, I take it through the body. I know that both people who are on now studied at DSA, so probably not where they are with astrology. But if there's anybody who's watching who hasn't studied astrology yet, that's a fun one. It's a lot.
Mm,
I feel like that's one thing about astrology. As simple as you can make it, there's still a lot there. And
mhm.
whatever I know, I always go, there's like an infinite sea of more stuff to know.
You could study astrology for the rest of your life and never get enough. Yeah. And just because you studied with one teacher, you may want to, study with others. Like I've studied with Deborah Silverman, Rebecca Gordon, the School of Traditional Astrology, adding tools to my tool belt from different perspectives is really helpful. I'm also part of OPA, the Organization of Professional Astrologers, and every month or so we put on presentations with different astrologers sharing their techniques and things. Oh, I'm going to be an astrology hub guide this
Oh, you're
year.
going to be an astrology hub guide? When is that?
Yeah, so that's an organization that's of astrologers. Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, it's a wonderful organization where they have a different astrologer every month who presents a topic. I'm going to be talking about progressions in May. So I'm so
Wow.
excited about that. That was like when I realized I wanted to be a professional astrologer and have a business, like being an astrology hub guide. I was like, I put that on my vision board, and it's Jupiter Uranus is coming true.
I
On
love
my
it. It's
Mercury
like,
in the 11th house.
it's the
Mhm.
truth. We have to be able to envision it and then send our energy towards whatever it is that we want and wherever we go. And it's interesting. I have Mercury in Sagittarius and 5 other planets. And I could just study everything all over the place. But for me, my work is really to go like, okay, Saturn's opposite my sun. What if I take a break where I am right now and just integrate everything I have? And that's it. It's like you could keep studying and studying and studying. And yet you've done it beautifully, Celeste, because as you study, you kind of weave the thing together and then you teach the next thing and then you share it with the world and then you study some more. But there comes a point, if anybody's like me and needs it, where also if they feel insecure about moving forward, working with the nervous system is really, really good, because I think we study astrology whenever we can. But also, if we have a core business, we have to attend to that.
Mm-hmm.
And for
Yeah.
you, that is your core business. It's all one and the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's been really, really lovely having this conversation with you, and I'm looking forward to more conversations. Astrology really brings us so much wisdom, and at the end of it, it's also a tool of connection, and it's a tool for connecting with people. And I love Stephen Porges' work on polyvagal theory, where he'll talk about the social nervous system and the importance of socialization. And I feel like, oh, look at this. Anne Marie saying she's collaborated with a friend who does energy work, and they have been doing readings together, showing how astrology validates intuition. That does sound really, really fun, Anne Marie. But there is a thing in there of how do we each kind of move forward wherever we are. And your chart and my chart and Anne Marie's chart and Anna's chart, we all have different things. And yet we all have to work with the energy of all of the same planetary bodies. And we also work with all of the signs of the zodiac and all of the houses. And that's beautiful how there's like universal life lessons, and then there's individual things that as a soul we have to do for our own. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah. So tell people how they can find you again, Suzy. What's your website?
You can find me on Instagram at Center for Expansive Living. You can find me, my Facebook page is also Center for Expansive Living. My website is suzyspira.com or centerforexpansiveliving.com, and it explains the work that I do and the prices I charge. And really, for me, it all comes back to the nervous system. It's how can we have a healthy nervous system? So it means we don't get stuck in fast, fast, fast. We don't get stuck in slow, slow, slow. We don't get stuck in freeze, but rather we flip flap back and forth between all of them. And really, I like to use astrology to help calm people, because then they know that they're actually living the life that they chose. That's their birth chart.
I
And there's
love that.
nothing, yeah, there's nothing more, because you could go like, it's not what my parents wanted for me. It's like you've got a different deal beyond your parents, everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anyone who's watching has any other questions, drop them in the chat while I do my wrap up. So for anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Celeste Brooks of Astrology by Celeste everywhere. My website, astrologybyceleste.com. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at the same handle. The Celestial Insights podcast is available wherever you listen to help you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. And I really feel astrology is the language of self-compassion. Understanding your chart can help you learn more about yourself, your talents, your blind spots, your challenges, your strengths, how to have better relationships with people. Everyone, your charts intertwine. Yeah, and recognize some of the challenges and how to lean into the ease and flow. And yeah, coming to me for a coaching package can really help you dive in and bring growth and achievement and accomplishments in a faster time period by syncing with the energies and riding with the waves that are coming in rather than against the tides. It could be a great, it can be just so illuminating. So you can check it out on my website.
Lovely to be with all of you today. Thank you.
And no one else
So many layers.
questions. So I guess we can wrap up, Suzy. Yeah, I'll end the stream, but you can stay. You can stay. Yeah, it's so many layers. We are like complex people. Well, thanks everyone for joining. And you can put any comments in the chat as well after it's ended for people who watch later. Okay, take good
Thank
care.
you.